Hi everyone, Frank Hackett here from Retro Barbers. I'm back to you again today with another tutorial video. So on the last tutorial, what we looked at was fading. And one of the techniques that we used was a descending technique, which brought us down through our attachments in a reverse order. So today what we're going to be doing is the opposite way around. We're going to go in with a more aggressive blade, work up through our attachments. So fading is obviously a really important haircut at the moment. It's a real popular haircut. A lot of lads are getting it done, and it is a more advanced haircut to do. And the technique I'm going to show you today is a little bit more advanced also as well. But give it a try, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to do a fade, and it's not going to be a skin fade, so we're not going to be taking it right down to the skin. So this is the mannequin head that I cut on the last video, which was more of a low fade, and I did drop it down to I think maybe a half or a zero. So what we're going to do today is a one fade, but we're going to go for a medium to high fade, okay? So I'm going to start on the sides here, and I'm going to create a baseline. And I'm going to work that all the way around, and then we're going to work up through our attachments. Okay, so what I have here is I have my, again, my wall magic clip, and I'm going to go in with my number one attachment. So we're going to go for maybe a medium to high fade here. So it's obviously very important as well, when the consultation stage, that you have a good chat with the customer and you ask them, what type of a fade they want to get. Is it a medium fade, a high fade, a low fade? But also what will dictate the type of fade they're going to get is how much space they have from here to here. So from the round of the head to the ear, that's going to dictate what kind of a fade and what kind of a technique you're going to be able to use. So the most common haircut at the moment is probably maybe your medium fade. So what I'm doing is, this is a fade brush. I'm not using my comb, so the fade brush is much easier to use and brush off the loose hairs. Going in with my clippers, a little bit of a flick out just cause a little bit of graduation. So what I'm looking for here is to create a baseline, and the baseline has to be level. I don't want it wavy or going up and down. I want it nice and straight, nice and consistent. At the back and around the crown area, if you like to drop it a little bit, again, it will depend on the head shape. It will depend on the crown area, what kind of a head shape they have on the back area here, what kind of growth patterns they have. So they're all things you got to keep into consideration. But if there's no issues with the crown, you can pretty much go straight around. I like to drop it a little bit at the back. I think it does give it a nicer shape. Okay, so we've done our one baseline here. And the thing is, like, we don't want to create too much weight. We want a little bit of graduation. So I've started on the temple and I've worked to the other temple. Some people like to start on the back. I tend to start on the temple area here. It's just a personal preference. Now I'll switch to my number two attachment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go just above my baseline here by about a finger width. And I'm going to graduate it out a small bit. Again, I'm not going to flick the machine out too much. I'm just going to fade it in an upwards direction. So what I want to do is reduce this weight line that is building up here. So I'm not going over the top of the rounded head by any means, just to take down that weight a small bit. And brush down with your fading brush, just to get some of the weight out of it. So the area in between here, so we've done the 1 to here, the 2 to here, and then any bit of weight in between, then we take out with the 1.5. So we've repeated that process on the back and on the other side as well. But also, before I go any further, what I want to do here is connect the beard to the top here as well, to the sides. So the beard is really important, and we don't want to leave it too heavy. So what I've done here is, you can see kind of almost a disconnection here. So we need to blend this in here. So what we do is we go in with number 2 and then a 1.5 and a 1. So I'm going to blend from a higher attachment up through to a shorter attachment, just to connect in the beard area and just make it sure it's nice and smooth and nice and seamless. Okay, so we're going to go in with the number 2. And probably maybe about the width of your finger, we're going to use that roughly as a marker to go in with the number 2. So maybe about 1/4 inch in with the number 2. And just lightly run through it. And if you haven't done any beard work or beard trims or anything like that, don't be afraid to use a little bit of pressure. You're not going to give any discomfort to the customer. Be nice and firm with it. So we've started on there. We're going to fade our way up now in a reverse way. So we're going to go for the 1.5. Click it on, pull my lever back. Just a little bit higher than what we were a second ago. And then repeat the process with a number 1. And working our way up. So that just gives a nice seamless connection. What you can also do as well is you can turn the razor upside down, the clippers upside down. and fade down this way. If you just want to connect it in a little bit more, if you felt that there was a little bit of hair down here, or if there was kind of straggly bits that were hanging out, you can just flick it down nice and lightly. Don't go too deep in it, just over the edges. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go in with a number 3 attachment. We've worked our way up from 1 to 2 to 1.5, and now we go to 3. So again, we're just going to flick it off the head, just to take this weight off here. And at the same time, we're trying to protect the weight just be under the round of the head, so we don't want to go too high. So this is just another way of blending in. If anybody finds maybe clipper over comb or scissors over comb a little bit more difficult, you can also use your attachments. It's also probably a quicker way of fading. Some barber shops, they need to work a little bit faster. They need quicker techniques. So just the last part here, I just want to take a little bit of weight out. Obviously there's different techniques you can use, and we'll all have our favorites. So the one I'm going to use today is actually my scissors over comb, but I'm going to use the point of the scissors. So I'm going to be point cutting up through this area here, because I really don't want to lose the length. I want to keep the weight that I have. I just wanted to break it up a little bit. Okay, so we just go in with the comb, turn it out, and I like to get a nice amount of hair here, so you don't have to turn it out too much. Keep a good amount of hair coming out through the comb, so roughly about again a finger length or a 1/4 inch. And I'm coming in with the point of my scissors and working across the comb. So it's not going to take a whole lot off, it's just going to break it up a little bit, just this weight line along here. And some customers like to keep it heavy here, so make sure on the consultation stage you have a chat with them and ask them, do they want to keep that weight there, do they want to bring it in. But it's a very visual thing and it's very personal, so I just like to create a little bit more of movement here, so when you put a bit of product in, it's relatively easy to style. So we've created a nice bit of movement on the back and sides with our point cutting. I'm not going to cut the top because I cut it on the previous video, but what I'm going to do now is just add a little bit of product. So the one I'm going to use today is Osmo, and it's matte clay, and just a small amount into the palms of the hands, and slide it then whatever way you like, or whatever way the customer desires. So the matte clay is great. It's a real dry kind of a matte look, and it gives a nice look to the hair, and it doesn't really look like there's a lot of product in it either. So that's the end of today's tutorial. I'm going to be back again with more videos throughout the week and also through next week. So if you have any comments on today's haircuts, or if you have any questions on today's haircuts, just drop them in the comment box below and I'll get back to you myself if you're not sure of anything. If you want to see more shorter tutorial videos, they're on my Instagram page, which is @FrankHackettBarbering. And I hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.